Okay, good evening, everybody. I hope all of you are safe and happy. Since this is the first video I'm making of 2022, I'd like to wish all of you a very happy new year. It's a little late, but better late than never. Acha, this week India is having a lot of festivities all over the country. I think some places people celebrating as Pongal down here in Chennai. In the north, people celebrate it as Lodi. Some people celebrate it as Makar Sankranti and all. So there were 29 states now. 29 states, 7 union territories, if I'm not wrong. So many people, more than 1.4 billion people in the country. So many states, so many people, so many languages. So every state has its own cultures and this thing. So imagine when people travel from one place to another in order to settle down, to study, or if people in the forces suddenly go and are transferred to another place. I mean, it's a completely different lifestyle for them, isn't it? I mean, when you go to a new city, when you spend time with people, get to know them, get to know the land there, and then suddenly it's time to move to a new place. Let's take it. I think the main difference is when the people who have spent their entire life in the south suddenly go to the north, and people from the north come to the south. I mean, most of the changes are well described, though it's not really all that alien like, but there are some differences which do make the people feel uncomfortable in the first few days. So let's just discuss some of those things here. So the first and foremost thing which I have noticed when I discuss with people, like they have a issue when they come to the city learning the language, which I accept it. Me, I am also having military background, so when I travel to a new place, I myself have this kind of an issue. When you go to a place, when you know when you slowly pick up the language, you have to communicate with people. You have to get to know your way around the city. So if you go there, if you don't know how to do it, I'm like, it goes and people like to communicate with everybody. So if you don't know, and they feel most comfortable talking in the language they know most fluently. So if you do not know the language, slowly people, it takes time for them to get used to you, to become friends, and to eventually grow close to you. So people, especially those who are studying now, I mean, if beyond a certain limit of time, they also slowly, like when they come, they feel it's a alien like land. Then when they join, they realize that okay, especially you have to learn the language in order to survive. So that is one issue. Another thing which I have seen is when people come to a new city, which I think it happens even if you're going for a couple of days, it takes some time to get to navigate the city. I mean, you stay in one place, like suppose you're staying in point A. If you have to find your place around, you know where the grocery is, you know where you have to go to the mall, you want to go watch a movie, you want to do sightseeing, you have to know the way. So if you don't know the way, it's like again asking Google to do your work for you, right? So that is one. Another thing, what I've seen people and I have personally faced is when you come, there's a whole new culture which you have to get adjusted to. Let's just take festivities for an example. In the south, a lot of people, though the festivities and the enthusiasm remain the same, in the north, people generally celebrate it post lunch. It starts in the evening. However, in the south, people do it in the morning. So some people do have time get adjusted. Both of them have their own pros and cons, which we shall come to in some time. So this is another thing which is there. Difference in cultures, difference in clothing also I have seen. Yeah, in the north for festivities and for all those things, they feel very comfortable wearing kurtas and all that. Here down, people find it more comfortable wearing South Indian dhotis and all that. So when they join the culture down here, they expect people to know their ways, to at least learn how to do it. Sometimes what happens is people find it little difficult. I would put it, not difficult, I would not say difficult, I'd say it takes some time to adapt. Some people find it easy to adapt, well adaptable, and some people have a little issues, probably because they've spent more time in their area, so they mostly learned their language and they're more comfortable with it. So however, you will eventually have to learn to get used to that. So that is one more in the medical field, especially, which I have seen. Mostly, if you want to know your way, as we have discussed, you have to be able to empathize, to understand what the other person is saying. Need not have to be language, need not have to be speaking, but you have to be able to understand what he's trying to say. And this has to come regardless of how you speak, how you go, how you do. The making friends is another thing which I've noticed and I've felt. When you join a new place, a lot of people are very, very social. They like to communicate, they like to understand the ways of the people, and some people might have spent some time there earlier, so they would not have as big a problem as those people who join the new place for the first time. So for first timers, understanding, making friends is slightly relatively harder for them. But yes, I mean, you have to eventually do it. But people I have seen, they generally try to stick around with people who know the same language as they do and then form a group of themselves. Happens. I mean, it's obviously you find yourself more comfortable. I agree. But the thing is, you have to eventually also learn how to mingle with people around you, and actually that's a good thing, because the more you interact with people who've been living in that city longer than you have, the more you'll get to know about that city, how people live there, what their lifestyle is. And you can also pick up, and you probably, when you get back to your place, you can also then teach your people how you've lived here. So that another and one important thing which is there is, when you are new to a particular place and you haven't yet adjusted to life there, I would suggest you can take a look around. You can go out and you can just go for a round. It does not have to be take a cab and all that. I mean, just go around in your neighborhood, find out how it is, learn, see, observe. For the starters, if you have issues in making friends and having a group, I'd say you start picking up on your own, start a new hobby in that city. By and by, you'll find people who appreciate what you are doing, and then they would like to talk to you. When people want to talk to you, don't shy back, saying that I don't know what if I talk to them, they might find me awkward. Nothing like that. I mean, everybody is just as curious about you as you're curious about them. In the beginning, deep down, agreed, they might find your way of communicating or your way of lifestyle little bit different, but gradually those who do understand and do understand you will eventually accept you amongst them. So that way you can tell a friend from a acquaintance. So that is one important thing which I wanted to point out. Also, when you're trying to learn something new, there is no issue in asking for help. I mean, people who know better than you and who are willing to teach you, you must always learn and be humble when you're learning. There's nothing wrong in trying to say, even if you make mistakes. I mean, we all tend to make mistakes, and I accept it. Even now I tend to make a lot of mistakes, but there's no harm in learning. I mean, you make mistakes and you learn. But if you're going to shy away, just stay up in one small little cocoon, I don't think there's any hope for you to learn and get adapted to that area. So that is one more thing. And if you are going to slowly settle down in the place, suppose if people from here in Chennai go to settle up in the north, I would recommend at least doing a little bit of the little research beforehand of the place you are going. You can't say that, okay, so this is Delhi. If you go from Chennai, if you go to Delhi, you can't go, okay, so this place is called Delhi. You have to know a little about it beforehand. So that is something which I would like my friends to know about. If you are intending to settle down, you have to point blank, you have to know everything about that place. If you are going to just stay there for a few years, you have to know enough about that place to help you live, I mean, properly. You have to be able to adjust, you must be able to let people know who you are, make a name for yourself. That way, I think a lot of people will appreciate you. You should be basically who you are. That is most important. When you are just going for a vacation, you should just know the basics. I mean, the so and so sightseeing is here, this is an important place, we should visit here. You should learn also. It is important to do your homework before you go to a particular place. When you do go to that place, you have to not be shy, you have to adjust with everybody around there, pick up as much as you can in terms of language. You have to eventually learn the ways of the cultures in that particular city, whether it be Mumbai or Delhi or Chennai, wherever. If you are planning to settle down, you have to know everything about that place. Simple as that. Including, you have to change your whole lifestyle, which I do admit is a little hard, but you will eventually get there, don't worry. As far as friends are concerned, you must have a group of friends who do know your language, have a group of friends who are new to your language. Spend some time, discuss and befriend everybody. I mean, it is good to teach your language or your way of life to friends who accept you. You can learn a lot from them. So that's how it is. I'm pretty sure I have a lot of people who have questions or who would like to share their experiences with me. So anytime anybody wants, they can always text me or DM me or personally even talk to me. I won't mind. So mostly that is how it was. As far as my personal experience was concerned, I think I've told a lot of my friends and viewers this, that yes, I have been traveling all over the city and all over the country more often. Every 2-3 years I've been shifting. So I would say, like, if you are really into a place, you have to at least learn enough to help you survive, and you have to have a few friends in every nook and corner, so that if you get stuck, you can always look forward to meeting them. You can relive the memories. So in the end, I think I have mostly conveyed everything I want to say. So I would just like to say happy festivities, wish you a very happy, prosperous new year, and stay safe. The pandemic is still on, and I hope all of you stay safe. Get yourself vaccinated as soon as possible. I'll be up to share a new video with you in some time. Till then, good night. Take care, everybody. Love you all.